Good afternoon and welcome to Team Celebration Series race number 4 of 12. Today we're doing Jungle Circuit 3 laps. We're following Morton Vang right now. The A's just started 1 minute in. This is 3 laps of the Jungle Circuit. B's are doing 3 laps. C's and D's are both doing 2 laps. The Jungle Circuit is not one of the most commonly raced courses on Zwift. Half of the circuit is uphill, half of the circuit is downhill. There's never a real incline above 10%. It's all a steady 3 to 5% incline, and then it's a steady 3 to 5% decline. We have a stacked field today, 51 A riders. We're clicked on Morton Vang. We're following the team points overall series. Right now, Kirkmayer is commanding this race overall. Their A team has 1,240 points. But nipping on their heels is Cryogen with 1076. So Cryogen and Kirkmayer are close. Behind them is TFC and Team Portugal. Those are the real 4 contenders in this race. I'm also following the B's and the C's. We're doing an overall team points series. So the A's have points, but the overall team leader is the C Cryogen team. So we'll be focusing on the C Cryogens along with everyone. We're showcasing A's, B's, C's, and D's today. The A's start first, the B's are 1 minute back, the C's are 1 minute behind them, and the D's are a minute following that. Like I said, you can see the jerseys. Right now we're clicked on Morton Vang, KRT rider. You can see a bunch of different yellow jerseys, a couple 3R riders right here, but overall, I saw a lot of teams with multiple riders in here today. Until 6 minutes, not much is going to happen. In 6 minutes, you get the climb to the jungle. The climb to the jungle will be the first portion where half of this group will get dropped. The climb to the jungle is probably the hardest part of the race, and it comes at about 6 minutes. After that, you get to the jungle, and it's a very, very long downhill. So it's going to take 5 minutes of every single thing you have to make this front pack, and all these riders know it. You can see the start. It's fairly muted, 143 beats per minute. Gosh, to 133. You can see everyone is fairly neutral start, 134. It's a 5-minute all-out effort. You'll see a lot of 5-minute max efforts for these numbers. It's going to be amazing. 51 riders. Before they start this one effort, I want to click back to the B's. The B's just started. Now the B team race is also led by Kirkmayer Cycling. So Kirkmayer is leading the A's and the B's. Your top 3 riders score. Doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter if it's the same riders. It's just 3 riders on the same team score and determine your points. We're clicked on Carl Copenhaver. We showcased Carl a few weeks ago. Glad to see him back. A lot of these are familiar names. Mark Worthington, he is the odds-on favorite for this race. He has the most points on Zwift Racing. This is between Kirkmayer, Cryogen, who is only 20 points behind. So each point determines how high you score. So Kirkmayer is leading with 1088 and Cryogen has 1068. So this is the tightest race among all categories, among all teams. It's really Cryogen and Kirkmayer Cycling are really neck and neck. Following that, Dirt at 976, who's also nipping in the heels, and TFC at 896. So from 1,000 points to 900 points, there's 4 teams in this B race. So this B race is one of the more exciting races. Like I said, 3 riders score. Beyond 3, they don't score, but they can box out other points. So if your 4th guy gets there ahead of another 3rd, the points will be deducted, and that person will get that placing score. A lot of team tactics. You're really riding for your 3rd guy, but you're also trying to get the best placing that you can. You can see, again, everyone is still together. 50 plus riders in this pack. The one effort that's coming is the climb into the jungle. Let's click back up to the A's. They're going to hit the climb first. I can see them making the left turn right here. They're making the left turn at the mural. They're going to go over a little bridge, and then comes the climb. You can see it right now. It's ahead of us. They're going to go over this bridge. So right now I'm wearing this brand new Zwift t-shirt. This blue one is the Epic KOM. I think they just came out with some new swag, and this is one of the brand new things, so I think it's pretty cool. The Epic KOM is one of my favorite places. Oh, and here's Johnny Rocket. Johnny Rocket, smartest rider in the game, hands down, no questions asked. Here's the Rocket, perfectly placed at the back of the pack. He's saving everything he has because he knows it's going to take everything he got for the next 5 minutes. 41 riders, maybe a few were caught out, but it's about to get very, very fast and very, very painful. I want to keep an eye on the number of jerseys, so I'm always going to be counting how many riders there are of the same jersey. Let's click up. We're going to see some red numbers immediately right here. 10%. This is one of the steepest parts. There's multiple pitches of this climb. The first pitch, it goes up and then it veers left, and this is the highest percentage gradient of pitch 1. So you can see them red numbers on the front. Here's Stefan Kirkmeyer. He did the morning race too, and he's back at it this afternoon for his team. So here we go, 10% plus around this bend. Then it's going to flatten out a little bit. So you'll see the numbers come down 7%, and this is the second pitch of this climb. So the more you can break down these climbs, the more you can sort of digest it as a rider and gauge your efforts differently. So here it goes, 5%, it's going to get to 4%, and it's going to flatten out quickly. This is the second pitch. Once you veer right again, this is the third pitch. It's going to go up again, and this is the other 10% incline. You really got to hammer the pedals right now. You can see this overview. Look how strung out it is. Here's Tom Ove Kaland. He's there. The rocket is there, perfectly placed right on the wheels of the big pack. The draft is still in effect, so if you can stay behind this big pack at the right points, you can save a little bit more energy than the people in front of you. So here they go. This is the final incline of the third pitch, and then the fourth pitch, I like to break it down. It's a slow, gradual incline across this bridge. It's only a 2 to 3% incline, but you still feel it and you still can't quite recover. So here's the rocket. He's going to grab this front pack. He's going to hold that wheel and then bring down his watts as low as he can. So there he goes. You can see the watts coming down, 200s, 214. He knows exactly what he's doing, and this is that slow, steady pound uphill. Okay, it looks like there's 13 so far, but a bunch of riders are going to be able to catch that draft. There's a 2-second gap right behind Wes Ooms. He's 2 seconds back, and this is it. This could be the whole race right here. This is the most important point, because after this slow and steady grind, there still is one more final effort uphill, and that's the final pitch. So here we go. Wes Ooms, he's going to make it on. Let's give him a ride on. A couple TFC and Cryogen riders weren't quite able to make it, but it's expected. That's probably the hardest effort of the whole race. It's 5 minutes. It's giving everything you got. Let's click the rocket. He was able to bring his heart rate down a little bit, and here comes the final push. One more uphill all the way to the second windmill. It's important. There are 2 windmills. You cannot let off the gas at the first windmill. You have to go to the second windmill. So here they go. The numbers are going up again. 5.4, 5.5. You can see the rocket, 300, close to 350 watts. Andy Bav is there, TFC. So I can clearly see 3 3R jerseys in this pack. They're right here surrounding Andy Bav. There's 3 3R. There's 2 draft riders, and there are 3 Kirkmeyer riders. There's Stefan, and a couple others. So this is, the team race is still on, even though there are only, how many made it? 23 riders in this main pack. Most of these riders are on teams of 3. So Johnny Rocket is solely riding for Team Finesse. Almeida will give him a ride on, and here comes that second windmill. Like I said, they hit the first windmill right there. You can see it on the right side. They hit that first one, but they have to still continue to the second windmill. It's still a 3% gradient. You can't quite catch your breath. But once you hit the top, it's all downhill for a solid 5 minutes. So once you get to the top, that's all you need to do. Here's the rocket. Again, absolutely, he's always in the perfect position. He's always within that 5-meter zone right off the bat. It takes a lot of expertise to ride like that. You always have to be paying attention, but if you ever need a lesson in Zwift racing, the rocket is the man to look out for. So here's Vanna. Here's one of the 3R riders. There are 3 3R, like I said. I only see 2 Cryogen riders, and that's Dan Fleeman. Also, that is, who's the other Cryogen rider? Because I see the other Pure jersey. Oh, here, Joe Leaf is the other Cryogen rider. So there's 2 Cryogens, which isn't quite your third, Let's take a peek back to see how far back they're third. Okay, so their third is in the second pack. Their third and the fourth are there. So they're only 11 seconds back. If they can really work together, this is a good pack. If they can work together, they might be able to catch this pack only 13 seconds ahead of them. So once they go downhill, the gap will increase. They have to stay on the pedals until the next incline, which is going to be in the bottom of the jungle. So here they go. Everyone's going to take a breath. You're going to see the heart rates come down. You're going to see the pack bunch up a lot more. I'm checking out the comments, so if you guys have any comments, just feel free to comment. Okay, so like I said, here's the A's. They're going to go downhill for a long time. The Rocket is at 0. Okay, so that's what I was saying. So here's P. Henderson at 4, and the Rocket is at 0. That's a huge disparity in efforts. And they're both in the pack. No one's gaining anything by going 4 versus 0. So if you can go 0, you should go 0. Let me check back on the B's quickly because the B race is super tight. Okay, so the B's are just about getting to that second windmill, which will mark the top of the climb. There's 24, 25 of them left. I can see the pink jersey is the easiest to spot. So I can see 2 pink dirt jerseys. I can see I Am Sterney. This is amazing. You get a ride on. Everyone, whoever is I Am Sterney is amazing. Let's see. There's at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 TFC riders. And how many cryogen? I see 2 cryogen. And I see 3 cryogen. So there's definitely 3 cryogen, at least 3 TFC riders, and I think 3 Kirk Meyer riders. This Bumblebee kit. Yeah. So this team race is well underway between the B's. Like I said, the B's are so close between Kirk Meyer, cryogen, dirt, and TFC. They're only separated by 100 points, so every placing is gonna matter. Let's see if it looks like Dirt has 2 in the second pack. Foudre has 2 in the second pack. And, oh, Team Portugal also has 1 in the second pack. All right, let's creep back up to the A's. The A's are just... Here's Marlene. We've seen Marlene live. We have to give Marlene a ride on. She's always a contender. You'd never want to count out Marlene. Just creeping back up to the A's. They just got to the jungle. Here we are back in the front pack. Rigby, the TFC rider. Like I said, they're still going downhill. You can see these heart rates: 135, 180 watts. Dan Fleeman 200, 137. So a lot of recovery, a lot of good numbers. The Rockets' heart rate back to 161. Oh, is this the second pack that we were talking about? I think it might be. The second pack caught them on the downhill. So this was the 3rd and 4th TFC cryogen rider. So I think the whole band is back together. Yeah, and this is super interesting for the team standings because they're really close to Kirk Meyer. So if cryogen, yeah, I clearly see 4 Tour de Pier jerseys, which is the cryogen team jerseys, and I'm excited that they're back together. A couple Foudre riders. Foudre means lightning in French. Don't forget that. Tom Ove Kalins is always on the front. A lot of the normal players, 30, which is a little more than I expected. This is half of the course. So half of the course is downhill, half of the course is uphill. It's very simple. It's not raced often because it takes a while to get to, but it's a great course because it's different. There's nothing crazy to separate the pack, but if you can stay on the gas on the uphill above people's threshold, you'll start to drop people one by one, and the pack will get whittled down as the race continues. So here they go. You can see the right turn coming up to the Alp, but they're going to stay left. They're doing 3 laps. The laps haven't quite started yet. Once they go under the start-finish batter, then the laps will start. Each lap will take around 10 minutes, so overall this will be about a 48-minute race. I did this race earlier this morning. It's interesting. It's just if you can hang on in that first half of uphill, then you can sort of catch your breath on the downhill. It's really hard to make a break stick because once you get a breakaway on the uphill, everyone has the downhill to work together and catch you again. So it's really hard to make a break work, but a break can work. You'll need probably 20 seconds after the first half of the uphill in order to stay away during the full downhill section. So here they go. They're about 30 seconds out from the start finish line. We'll check back in 3 laps at this point because this is when leadouts will start, sprinters will start going. It's flat, and then there's a little incline for the final uphill. Everyone's heart rate is very low, 125, 133, 149, 146. Everyone's feeling that full recovery. The uphill hasn't quite hit yet, but this is the finishing straight. Just keep an eye on this because this is what the sprinters will have to deal with. There's a 1% incline right around this bend, and then you'll see this archway right here. So it's just enough incline to increase the resistance on your trainer to really pound the pedals. So here they go. Nothing quite yet. Just looking at the riders' names. Murgalas, we've seen him plenty of times. Gajda from Draft, we've seen him plenty of times. Hall from TFC. Broom, I'm not sure what team this rider's on. Viana, this is the Portuguese team. So the Portuguese team, I think, they have those 2 great A riders, and they've been rotating a C and a B in the A race just to get some points, which is phenomenal to see. So here they go. Once they emerge out of this cave, this is when half of the lap starts as the uphill. Like I said, feel free to comment. I'm watching the comments. I have the Facebook feed open too. Here they go. They're about to start the uphill. I don't see anyone really attacking quite yet. These guys can probably hold 5.5 to 6 throughout this whole uphill. So anything beyond that will be something to look out for. But right now, these numbers look very, very under control. The names that I really want to look out for to make a move are Dan Fleeman, of course, hill climbing king of the world, and Stefan Kirkmeyer, who did this morning's race. But last week, Stefan's job was really to cover every single move, and he acted perfectly as a domestique. So Stefan is the team leader. He knows exactly what he needs to do to score the most points for his 3 riders. I'm sure he's well aware that his team has a commanding lead in this A race, and he just wants to grow his lead as safely as he can without dropping any of his riders. So here they go. Again, these numbers are nothing crazy. 163 heart rate, it's high, but a lot of these riders can handle more. 154. Let's check Tom, 158. Still together, it's not even strung out. I'm surprised. Maybe they're waiting for lap 2 or lap 3. The Rocket sitting perfectly in there, his normal spot. Tom Gakes, Tom shows up most every race. Still 3 3R riders, still 3 TFCs, still 3 Kirkmeyer. It looks like 2 Draft and 2 Team Portuguese. So it's good to see, but I'm very surprised that no one's taking charge at the front. BRT, I saw a couple BRT riders. Let's look at the Zwift Power. Just checking the live tab quickly. Yeah, everyone is looking good. So one of these 3R riders looks like a B rider. I wonder if they had one of their B riders step up to the A race to get some more points because 3 of your riders can score it, which is phenomenal to see. Everyone in this main pack, you know, has the FTP to compete or to win this race. So everyone's to look out for. Here's the sharp right turn. This is a little over halfway past the climb. Still no moves at the front. I saw a little bit of red. That's the man I was looking out for. This is Dan Fleeman, the hill climber. Andy Babb is starting the move, 500 watts, which is enough, putting a little pain, but there's Stefan in the perfect position. Stefan's not going to take the lead. He's just going to follow. He's surrounded by 2 Cryogen riders, Joe Leaf and Fleeman. But Joe Leaf and Fleeman, I hope their 3rd rider is still intact because they were the ones that almost got dropped on the climb into the jungle. So if I were them, I'd be communicating with my 3 and 4 guys. So here they go. Everyone's just following Andy Babb, Team TFC. Here's the second Team TFC rider, Rigby, excuse me, singular. Rigby. There might be a little daylight in between Caesar and Andy. Here's Tom Gakes. Yeah, I think here comes the string, and this is when the second pack needs to stay on alert, because a couple of these riders might get caught out, and I'm sure the Rocket knows that there's a move. So here come his watts, 400 plus. Henderson is going. They see a little gap. 1 second is enough. If they don't close it now, this is enough, because the bridge and then a second push over the bridge is going to be what it takes. So there goes Henderson at 8.2 to grab that wheel. They're almost at the top. Once you get to the top, then you can recover, but you're not quite there yet. So here comes the second pack. They're all trying to grab on right now. And this is that moment. So they've crested, and they can all get in the draft and go downhill together. So here they go. They're going to gain speed. They're going to gain momentum together. It looks like a couple or 2 seconds out, but they might be able to do it if they give it a big punch right over this bridge. And here they go. You're going to see the red numbers now. Here they go. Everyone wants to continue the momentum. No one's trying to break away, really. Everyone's just trying to stay in the pack. Here they go. Let's see if anyone was caught off. The Rocket, of course not, in the perfect spot. The American, Dable, possibly. Gajda from draft. Yeah, so it looks like maybe 4 or 5 guys weren't quite able to stay there. But here they go. That was the uphill. Now we're onto the downhill section. If you can do this properly, you can recover. You're going to see the numbers come down, the heart rates come down. Everyone's together. The blob's going to pack up again. They're on their way downhill. Let's take a quick peek to the B's, see what's going on there while the A's. Okay, we have to click on Sterney and see what's going on. They're going up together, this pack. So here's the bunch, 25 left in this main A pack. They're almost at the top of this climb. They're on lap 1 of 3. They're also doing 3 laps. These riders will take about 51 minutes, and their FTPs are 4 or below. So if you see numbers, these riders should be able to hold 4 to 4.5 throughout this 5-minute incline. If you see anything above 4.5 to 5 for these riders, then they're starting to get into distress. Then they start getting into that, beyond threshold VO2 approaching. So these numbers are okay for them. Anything in the 4s, anything around their FTP. Heart rate's 179. Auto, under control. Let's see if we can take a peek at the jerseys quickly. I do see 2 pinks. I don't see a third. I see 2 TFC. Okay, there's at least 3 TFC. There are definitely 3 Cryogen. How many Kirkmeyer cycling are there? I see 2. Do I see a third? Yes, I do. Okay, so 3 Kirkmeyer, 3 Cryogen, 3 TFC, and only 2 Dirt, and those are the 4 teams we're really looking out for in the Bs. Here's Andrew Robinson. He was live 2 weeks ago. Give him a ride on. Always cheering for Andrew. All right, and there they go. It doesn't look like they dropped anyone. So 25 in the Bs. They're going to go downhill. It's highly likely that nothing is going to happen on this downhill. Let's click back up to the A's. Almost Fast is shocking, because Almost Fast is always in the front pack, so I'm surprised to see him not making the front pack. I guess he was dropped on the climb into the jungle circuit. All right, back up. Matthias Streibel, a Foudre rider. Like I said, it's uphill and then it's downhill. It's very static. It's a very basic ride. You go as hard as you can for the uphill, and you try to recover as much as you can for the downhill. Simple, but it's not easy. Henderson is the 21st rider. Here's the Rocket at 1.9. His heart rate's down to the low 160s. We've seen him get up to the mid 180s, so I know he's getting that recovery. Still 3 Kirkmeyer, still 3 TFC, 3 3R riders. I want to see some team tactic moves. I want to see all 3 riders move to the front and try to force a breakaway, or I want to see someone try to shake it up if they have more than 3 riders. it gets a little tricky because a lot of the individual riders, they're not aware of the team tactics or the rule of 3, which is your 3 rider score. So they're ultimately riding for themselves, whereas the other riders are riding for others. In a normal bike race, everyone's riding for someone, but here half the people are riding for themselves and half the people are riding for others. So it adds another dynamic into this. It adds another layer of game theory into this. How hard do I go? I'm always thinking about the other riders and what they're doing. So a Zwift race might seem simple, but if you're doing it properly, you're always thinking about the guy next to you, you're always thinking about your numbers, and you're always thinking about the course. There are still 20 riders here. The Rocket is just beyond that 5-meter zone. He's going to pick it up a bit so he doesn't fall off the back. Again, Gakes. Oh, Wes Ooms didn't make it. We saw him almost make it over that bridge. I guess he didn't quite make the gap on the bridge. Here's the Rocket. He's always dangling off the back. I know I keep clicking back to him, but he's just always in this perfectly precarious position. So I'm going to trademark this, the perfectly precarious position of dangling off the back, but he's okay, and this is where he prefers to ride. Here are the lap times, 10:24, 10:25. Not as fast as I thought. Again, it's a very fast lap, but I was looking for under 10, and I think these guys are feeling fresh. Schwarz, 134 heart rate. Polish rider, 150 heart rate. Some of these guys have to be getting antsy. That was a fairly slow lap in relation to their abilities. Here they go. They just passed the start-finish banner, and they're going to go uphill for lap 2. And this is going to be lap 2 of 3. We're just about halfway, a little over halfway through the overall race. Like I said, I got the comments. Feel free to drop me a comments. Here they go. They're going uphill again for half the lap. So here they go. No one is really attacking it off the front. I'm trying to find that red number and click it immediately, but no one really wants to attack. They're either waiting for the last lap or they really don't want to drop that third rider. Let's see, a lot of high 4s, low 5s, which is under control, well within the bounds. Here's Tom off the front. 5.5 is not enough to break it. I think he's just pulling the pack along, hoping to drop 1 or 2 danglers on the back. Tom's riding the disc. He has a second gap, but he's clearly not trying to cause a break in the pack. Anyone trying to cause a break in the pack in this A race has to go 6 or above here, and I just don't see that. I think there are too many riders that are willing to cover attacks for their teammates. Let's look up ahead. Here is Dan Fleeman, 157. This is pretty normal for Dan. Only 100, 290 watts. So yeah, Dan knows exactly what he's doing. We're going clockwise. We're doing counterclockwise around the jungle circuit. We're doing 3 laps of the jungle circuit. If you just tuned in, this is Team Celebration Series, 4th race of 12. This is team standings. We're watching the A race. The teams that are just dominating this A pack is Kirk Maier, this yellow and black stripe kit. After them is Cryogen, TFC, and the Portuguese team. So those are the riders that we're really looking out for. Everyone on their name has their team name. Everyone's probably riding for their team. Here's Joliffe controlling the pack from the front. You can see a lot of yellow dots in the top right. That's the mini map. They're passing D's, they're passing C's. I'm only really focusing on the A's and the B's today because we're going to do a highlight of the C riders later. So the C's will have their own dedicated stream because the C race is really it's really a great show between Cryogen and TFC. That's all I'm going to say. I don't want to, no spoilers. Again, right around 20 riders. Still, nothing much is going on. I wonder if Stefan is tired. He did the race earlier this morning with me. I think he had a great placing. maybe a slight move by Andy Babb at the front. He made this exact move last lap. He was 7.5 at this exact point last lap. Let's take it out. Nothing much. No daylight. It's because no one's really going with him. I think he's trying to bait 1 or 2 riders into forming a breakaway, but no one's really falling for it. Here they go. It's the final incline. Oh, Henderson is a second off the rocket. If anyone is behind the rocket, that's a flashing red light. Not a good position to be in. The rocket, he's either having a power drop or he just called it quits. I think it's probably a power drop at 0 watts. It's a shame because he was riding perfectly. Here's Schwartz. Give him a ride on. Okay, so we have left 2 riders, Henderson and the Rocket. Whether it was a mechanical or not, I don't know. But I did see 0.0 for a while. Here's Gakes. I wonder if 3R only has 2 now because of Henderson. Let's give Henderson a ride on. Okay, we already did. So 3R, there is Gakes, and there's a little move up here. Dan Fleeman. Dan and Stefan have about 2 seconds, and like I said, Stefan is going to cover every single move. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter how strong it is. Stefan's job in this race is to cover all moves, period. Oh, and there's a third rider, Almeida. All right, I didn't see that. Almeida, I don't know exactly what team he's on. Let me check. Pierre Almeida. I don't see any team affiliated with Pierre. But he looks like looks like he could do 7.2 for 5 minutes, which is a lot. A lot. Okay, so we have Almeida, Dan Fleeman, and Stefan Kirkmeyer. 3 riders on the front. You're not going to see Stefan pulling. I can almost guarantee that. You're going to see him staying on the wheel of Dan Fleeman and Pierre. Looks like they have 12 seconds to the main A pack. This is some time. This is definitely a move. It's nothing to scoff at for sure. Here's Caesar. So yeah, I think there were only 2 3R riders left. There's Vanna and there's Gakes. I believe the third 3R rider was Henderson, who was just dropped. So the team standings is down to Kirkmeyer, Cryogen, and TFC in this A race. There are 2 KRT riders. There's Morten Vang and there's Tom Ove Kaland. 3 can score, but 2 is enough. If these 2 can place high enough, they can really score just as many as any 3 riders in here. Let's click back. These riders are working well together. They're not taking any recovery. The numbers are still in the 4s. I think they're going to be able to catch. They're getting mixed in with the C's, and I wonder if the sticky draft is going to help or harm which one of these packs. There's Stefan. I'm surprised Stefan is pulling this pack because Stefan might... Let's see how many of his teammates are in this pack. There's at least 1. Here's Schwarz. Are there any other? And here's Mergelas. Okay. So there's 2. So Mergelas and Schwarz are not going to pull this pack. And additionally, Cryogen with Joliffe. And there was 1 more Cryogen rider. So in this pack of about 15, at least 4 of them are not doing any work because they have teammates up front, which is beneficial. So if I'm Dan, Stefan, I'm Pierre, this is good because I have a lot more bodies in the pack, and that means bodies that aren't willing to pull. Okay, so they're going downhill. There's a 15-second gap. Let's remember that. Let's click back to the Bs quickly. Let's see if we can find them. Okay, so here's the Bs. Bowen. Bowen's a regular. He's on his own team, but he's always a regular at this race. Here's Sterney. Always coming back to Sterney. I don't know who it is, but they took my name, so I love it. Sterney. Marlene is there. Foudre rider I saw. Torment. I'm not too familiar with. Let's look at the B standings. Okay, Cyril Torment it looks like he's an A rider, so it looks like he's gonna get disqualified. Okay, Still 3 Kirkmaier. Still 3 TFC. Still 2 Dirts. Mark Worthington is still there. A couple 3R riders I did see. Pinheiro, and I believe I saw another one. I'm not quite sure. I'll still have to click back. But there were 25 after that first lap. So let's see how many there are now. There are 23. So only 2 people gone, and that's 2 hills done. There's only one more chance to drop anyone, and then it's a sprint finish. It's going to be a tough one for these guys to get anything but a sprint finish. Andrew Robinson, Andy Hadfield. Here's Nellis from Team TFC. The heart rates are going to come down, 163, 162. Gould from Cryogen. All right, let's get back to the A's. The gap, the last time we checked, the gap was 15 seconds. So let's see what it is now. Okay, so it's only 7 seconds. But they just finished the downhill, so there's still daylight, and it's Vanna from 3R who's leading the chase, followed by Morten Vang. But no one's really... I wonder if anyone's going to try to bridge the gap to continue the breakaway. I'm interested to see these lap times if they're any faster than 10:24. We're watching 3 riders in a breakaway: Dan Fleeman, Pierre Almeida, and Stefan Kirkmaier. On the front, Portuguese team. Okay, so that lap time was 10:15, 10:16, so it's getting faster. They're descending in time. 10:15, 10:16s for the lead 3, and 10:22s for the next one. So I expect this lap to be under 10 minutes because they're probably going to be chasing down those 3, or they'll be going for a sprint finish. So the gap is going back up. It was 15 down to 7, and now it's going back up to 10, 11, 12, and even 13 seconds. I'm looking at the right side of the screen, and you can see these gaps. 12 seconds, 13 seconds, and they're doing well. They're working together. Everyone's pulling at 5.2. There goes Pierre at 5.0, and Stefan is bringing it down to get a bit of recovery. And it's so hard in Zwift to draft properly if you're in a small breakaway, for the person in front of you to go really hard and for yourself to go easy. So here they go at 6.2 and 6.9. This is really fast, and they're going really hard. They're giving it everything to make this work. And there goes Almeida with red numbers to try to catch on that wheel. Tom Ove Kaland at 6.2, 6.3, the same speed that the front pack was doing. So they're not going to be able to bring them back at all. Unless Tom stays at this pace, at this 400 watts, he's going to need a rest, and he's going to need someone else to work. But right behind it is Mergelas, who's not going to do that. Okay, so the 2 KRT boys, Tom and Morten, M. Vang and T. Kaland, they're trying to rally everyone to bring this front pack back of 3. But that front group of 3, they're still working. Dan Fleeman is still putting out 320 watts, but his heart rate is climbing. 170, 169. He's got to be hurting. At 5.1, he's really slowing down. He started out with 6s and 7s, and now it's come down to 4.7, 4.9. I hope... We always want to see a breakaway, so I hope he's still got it in him. Here's Pierre. Here's MD, the BRT. So this chase pack is really switching off. KRT is doing some pulling. BRT is doing some pulling. I expect TFC to do some pulling. Here's Rigby. He was the next guy in line to do pulling, and that's just like we said, Team TFC, Team BRT. So these are teams not represented in the front pack. They're all exchanging moves, trying to trade pulls. These guys are going very hard. Morten Vang, 177 heart rate. And Dan Fleeman's doing another dig at 500 watts at 7.6. He's really trying to make it work. It's so important here to pass with speed, because if you get stuck in the sticky draft behind these C's, it's game over. Everyone's still working together. Pierre Almeida, Stefan Kirkmaier, Dan Fleeman. They're giving it everything they have. Here's Dan, 172 heart rate. It's really high. Here's Stefan and Pierre. Morten Vang with a 10.0. He's going to try to make the bridge. Here goes Morten Vang. 9.0, 6.0. Let's check the rear view. No one's in his draft. Murgalas is off his draft. Here goes Morton. He's going to give it everything to try to get in that breakaway. If Morton gets in that breakaway, then that means Tom Ove Kaland will not be working. So there's Tom. What is Tom doing? Tom's teammate is going for it, and Tom is bringing the entire pack back with him. I wonder what he's doing, if he even realizes it. Gakes is going to be able to grab Tom's wheel. Okay, I think Tom might finally realize that he's bringing the entire pack back up to his own teammate Morton Vang. But the red numbers are coming out from this front pack, and I don't think Morton's going to be able to close this 6 seconds. This 6 seconds is everything. Here goes Pierre Almeida with 10.6, which is phenomenal power at this point in the race. 168 heart rate. Stefan Kirkmeyer. Dan Fleeman has been caught off the back, but he's putting out 9.0 to catch that wheel. And look at this gap increase to Morton Vang, 10 seconds. So there they go. To drop Dan Fleeman on a hill is damn near impossible. So these guys are digging deep, and this is absolutely everything in the tank. Here's Stefan trying to hold the wheel. Pierre Almeida. And there's Stefan. They're almost at the top. You can see the bridge coming up. Then it's going to flatten out. Down to 200 watts. Stefan is trying to catch a breath. He's trying to get everything he had, and this gap is 6 seconds to Dan Fleeman. And Dan Fleeman was just dropped on the hill, which I don't think I've ever seen from Dan Fleeman. These are some special numbers from Almeida and Kirkmeyer. There they go downhill, trying to get those deep breaths in for one more punch over this hill. And here they go. Here come the red numbers. Here's Pierre. Come on, Stefan. Hold that wheel. That's all he needs to do. And there they go over the top, continuing the momentum. Okay, so two of them have a 12-second gap over Dan Fleeman, who is riding solo, and beyond that is 20 more seconds to Morton Vang. This is spectacular. And then beyond them is the pack of 15 riders who are represented by Kirkmeyer, TFC, and Cryogen. There they go over the punch, over the hill. Let's move back up to the front. I want to find... Okay, I just saw Dan Fleeman. Okay, here's Morton Vang. Here's Dan Fleeman. So Dan Fleeman is now 28 seconds back from these two riders. These two riders have a 30-second gap on one rider, and then they have another 30 seconds on another rider. So I think this might be enough. Okay, so officially, according to Zwift Power, is 17 seconds, is 20 seconds to Dan Fleeman and 34 to the main pack. I wonder if the main pack is going to be able to get enough speed to catch them. Let's look quickly. Okay, so Stefan's going 27 miles an hour. Dan Fleeman's going 32 miles an hour. And this pack is going 30 miles an hour. So the chasers are going faster in speed than those in the front, but I wonder if that's going to be enough to catch them. I can already see the time gap decreasing to Dan Fleeman. So if you look right here, there's Dan Fleeman, Dig Deep Coaching, 19 seconds. If I'm Stefan and Pierre, I have to increase the pace a little bit. The watts aren't quite enough. 200s, 100s is not going to be enough to stay away. There's just so much speed in that big pack. And Dan is putting out 6.0 to try to catch them. He's not giving up. Dan Fleeman is making up ground, and he's not giving up on the two in front of him. Stefan and Pierre Almeida. Again, the two riders. There's two in the front, one chaser, Dan Fleeman, and then the peloton, right? I'm using the big cycling words. Peloton is about 30 seconds back. Here they go. You can see all the red dots up here in the top right. Let's see if we can zoom out. Okay, so if you can see my cursor in the top right, there's the front two. And then right here is Dan Fleeman, and then right here is this front pack. If this was a flat course, I would say the race is over. It's a race between two riders, but they're going downhill at these downhill speeds, so I don't quite want to put my money on these two riders yet. Again, one more check. 34 miles an hour for Stefan, and then 39 for this chase pack. Is it enough time? It's so close. They're only a mile and a half from the finish, and they're going so fast. I just don't know. And there's Dan. Oh, and Pierre with a 14. is with a dig to Stefan right now. But both of them had enough time to recover. If they keep doing this to each other, they're going to stay away because it's so close to that finish line. And Pierre is holding these red numbers for the longest time. And here he comes back down to recover. Stefan's playing the perfect card, just holding that wheel. Getting down to 3.4, 186 heart rate. Let's see their sprints. Okay, so Stefan can sprint at 16.6 for 15 seconds, and Pierre can sprint at 13.7. So if it comes down mano a mano, Stefan is the odds-on favorite for Kirkmeyer Cycling, KC. Almeida, still unclear what he's going to do to try to win this race, but he has the 5-minute power. I wonder if he can utilize that, maybe starting now or starting later. Okay, so now if you look at the top right, you can see that archway. We just saw it in the mini map. Let's keep an eye on. Here they go, 40 seconds starting now. It's Kirkmeyer versus Almeida, and then there's Dan Fleeman 14 seconds back. But I think it's going to be these two riders. It's going to be a game of cat and mouse. Who's going to be the first one to go? I want to jump on it. Here's Stefan getting down to 85 watts. He's going as low as he can. He knows he's got to stay on the wheel. And here's Dan Fleeman with the red numbers. Keep an eye on that. Look at my cursor. That 8.1 right there. Okay, and there goes Stefan at 16.9. He's not going to be able to get that. No, this is Stefan's race. But here's Pierre Almeida. Is he on the wheel? Is he going to be able to close it? If he can get to the draft, he's going to be able to close it. But no, it's going to be Stefan's race. So Stefan's going to crush this sprint finish. And it looks like, yep, Stefan's got it. Almeida second. Dan Fleeman for Cryogen is going to be third. A breakaway of 2 riders succeeded in the jungle circuit. It's rare to see, but it's phenomenal. And then fourth place is going to be Mergelas for Kirkmeyer. And here, oh no, he's going to be passed by Vanna at the finish. And then here comes the whole pack. So what a race. I just wanted to click away quickly so we can catch this B finish so I don't lose this whole race. All right, so here's the second pack of the A's, and here's the front B's. So we saw the A finish. We saw a breakaway of 2 succeed. Kirkmeyer won it. Pierre Almeida got second. Here come the B's. We saw 25 after the first lap and then about 21 after the second lap. Now there are still 20 riders. They are going... Where are they exactly on course? It looks like... Okay, so they've just crested. Now they're on the downhill section. Okay, so now these riders are on the downhill. It looks like everyone is together. Let's find the first place rider. Okay, yes. So all 20 riders are still in the front pack. This is the front pack of the Bs. And like I said, this B team race is so tight from the first team to the fourth team, the 3 riders per team. That's Kirkmeyer, Cryogen, Dirt, and TFC. It's so tight. Let me quickly look at the B 15 second. Okay, so Andy Hadfield from Dirt has the fastest 15-second sprint at 13.8, followed by Thomas Fisher at Kirkmeyer. So Hadfield and Fisher are the 2 to look out for, according to Zwift Power, with just raw watts. Beyond those 2, it's up to strategy, and it's up to who can play their cards right with positioning and gauging their power efforts. Is anyone going to go early? We're still a little bit far out. You can see the heart rate start to come down, 158, 169, 163s. Let's click on Marlene. Marlene, one of the fastest women in Zwift. She's always a competitor in the B category races. Let's keep an eye on her. Mark Worthington, like I said, the top ranked B racer in this race right now. Just following Zwift Power so I can see. Of course, we always have to root for Sterney because. Okay, so they're approaching the right turn to the Alp. That means 1 mile out. Excuse me, that means 1K out. I still see 3 Cryogens right on the front. I still see how many U3R? I still see 3 3R riders, and I still see 3 Kirkmeyer riders. So all the team standings are still intact. It's still a team race. This is about the top 3 racers on your team. Is anyone going to go early? I don't believe so. The watts are coming down. It's all about not being on the front at this exact moment unless you're going for the win. And it looks like they're mixed in with a couple A's who will make this a little more interesting. The A's are also finishing too. Okay, and here goes Prego and Otto, a couple 10s. Here we go. Here's Bowen on the front at 8.5. It's still early. It's too early for a raw sprinter to go. This is the point where I want to hold a high 5, low 6 if I'm a B. Okay, it's still too early. You still just want to worry about positioning. You still have 30 seconds till the finish line. Okay, and you go right about now. Okay, here goes Bowen with a 10.0. Here goes Hadfield with the fastest sprint. And there goes Hadfield with a 12.1. There goes Andy. But flying through the pack comes Schmidt. Schmidt with a 10.8. And it's going to be Kirkmeyer 1-2. Who's it going to be, though? Oh, no. Coming through at the end. Is it Mark Worthington? Oh, my God. Mark Worthington. Just absolutely the most experienced rider. It was either Mark Worthington or the Kirkmeyer 1-2. But whatever the case was, it was Mark Worthington followed by 2 Kirkmeyer riders. Or it was Kirkmeyer, Worthington, Kirkmeyer. Unbelievable finish. Both the A's we saw breakaway succeed and the B's. It was just a commanding, controlling race by the whole Kirkmeyer team. Awesome job. I will be back next week. Same time, same place. Richmond, UCI. Can't wait. Have a good one. I'm Sterny.